Welcome to Sci-Fi Frontier. I'm Dominic, and in this video I'm going to be talking about the last 5 episodes of the Expanse Season 4. So I kind of fell behind doing reviews on these. So I just binged the last 5 episodes, and wow, man, they are really good. This last season, I have to say, it has been really good. So I'm going to start off by giving my overall thoughts on Season 4. Season 4 has been really solid, and there's a lot of things I've really liked about Season 4. And it's the show is really picking up steam. So great season overall. A few minor nitpicks here and there, but not much to really even talk about. So one thing about this season, and one thing about this series, I have to say that I really like, is how the characters are written to be so likable and interesting. Like even the character of Amos, who is like a psychopath basically on the ship. But he's a very complex, very interesting character. Like, you want to know more about him. Why is he like that? What's his background all about? But he's always very secretive of it. And, but all the characters, like, you care about them. Like, you root for the characters, you want to see them win, and you want to see them live. Compared to other shows, like, well, I'm going to say it, modern day Trek, like Discovery and Picard. Like, after season 1 of Discovery, you could have killed off every one of the main characters, I wouldn't care, and start off with a whole new batch next season. Star Trek Picard, I don't care about any of the characters outside of Picard. If you kill them all off, wouldn't matter to me at all. But this show does such a way better job of writing their characters and making characters complex and interesting and making you want to know more about them, and make them really likable. So when they die, there's actual stakes. You actually care that they're dead. And that's the difference. That's what I really enjoy about the show, and they do such a good job on that. So now I'm going to talk more detail about this season, so spoiler warning. I'm going to get into details. If you haven't watched all the episodes, go watch them all first, then come back and watch this. But I'm going to get into spoiler territory. So one thing about this season I really liked is they really did a good job with Bobby Draper's character. I was a little bit skeptical about the storyline at first because it's a deviation from the book. This doesn't happen in the novels. But which is kind of a good thing because I didn't know where it was going and what they were doing with it. So, it was something that wasn't already spoiled for me from having read the books. But I wasn't sure where they were going to go with her getting mixed up with these criminals. And it was kind of out of she was in a desperate situation and kind of they did a job of like having her slowly get entangled and pulled into this web of espionage and conspiracy and stuff like that. And I really liked her character in this season. They did a good job of making her such a badass character, and she had some really good fight scenes and gunfights and stuff like that. And it did a really good job of developing her character, and it did a good job of dissecting the whole idea of Mars and the Martian dream. I really like that they did a good job of that. That was the glue that was holding all the Martians together, was the terraforming project, the terraforming of Mars. Now that you have all the ring gates open up, you have all these other planets that have breathable atmospheres, you can just go there and you don't have to do all this terraforming. The dream is collapsing in on itself. There is no dream anymore. People have lost sight of their dreams. So now that dream is gone, it's like the society around it starting to collapse. Now that they have nothing, they have no purpose now. So now they're starting to get drawn into these dark things, like selling off their technology to the inners and stuff like that. And then Bobby kind of gets drawn into that. So I thought they did a really good job on that. And the other thing I really liked in the season, I really liked the character of Murtry. Man, they did such a good job with that villain, and the actor who played him, man, just nailed it. Did such a good job of being like so evil and greedy and murderous. Like you did such a good job. You just couldn't wait. You were just dying. Like you wanted to see a showdown between him and Amos so bad in this season. You just wanted Amos to just blow him away. They did a fantastic job of that. And you just knew it was going to come to a head. And actor did a fantastic job. And the other character that they introduced into this that they did a really good job, and I can't wait for him to do more with it, is the character of Marcos, because he's a very good villain in the books. He's written to be like very charismatic, and basically his most powerful weapon is his mouth, as they did in this. He could talk his way out of anything. Like he talked his way out of his own execution. That's how good he was, and that's how charismatic he is. And he can like just seduce everyone with this whole dream and the way of doing it, but it's for like not good purposes. And the actor done such a great job. I think the actor they cast on that. Now, when I read the book, so I kind of pictured him being an older character, but older than the actor they have portraying him. But that's not a big deal. I really like the actor they got to play him, and I think he does a good job of playing like a very charismatic, seductive guy that can really draw you into his machinations. And now the other thing, now I'm going to get into some moments that really kind of shocked me. And one thing I got to talk about is Ashford's death in the last episode. So they did kill off Ashford, and I really liked that character. I wasn't expecting him to get killed off, but once he boarded the ship and I seen his men going down, I kind of saw where it was going, and I was like, "Oh shoot, I think he's gonna bite the dust in this one." But the actor did a great job. He did a good job of portraying his old grizzled space pirate. I really liked that character. He's like this old, zero bullshit warrior that is just seasoned and have seen all the bullshit, heard all the bullshit, and that's why he never fell for Marco's silver tongue, because he'd been there, he'd seen it all, he'd seen guys like that come and go. Such an interesting character. And I really like that last scene. Like, he just was a hard ass right till his last breath. Like, he would not beg, he wouldn't plead for his life. He was just, just took it like, and he just took it like a man, and took it like a real warrior. And he wouldn't cave in to Marcos at all. And even right to the last end, he kind of outsmarted Marcos there, because he recorded Marcos blabbering on about some of his plan there. And he just was a hard ass right to the end, and even turned right around and just walked right out the airlock. I like that. He just like, screw you, you're not going to get anything out of me, and I'll just march right out this fucking airlock. That was a fantastic scene. It was a good death scene, great death scene, but I really liked that character, and sad scene to go. And now the other things I want to talk about, one another pretty intense moment, was Amos having to kill that girl he was sleeping with, that he kind of formed a relationship on that planet. That was an interesting dynamic they had going, because they liked each other and they were having sex, but they were on opposite teams. And she was just so blinded by Mercury, she just would not see what kind of a sleazebag he was. Like, she was just decided, no, I'm loyal to him, I have to be loyal to him. And it's almost like she was in she was like a woman in an abusive relationship with a really emotionally abusive man, but was just thinking that, but had been in it so long she couldn't see outside of it. And Amos is kind of like the good guy trying to pull her out of that relationship, but she never did right to the end. And it came to the point where she forced him to choose, and he shot her. And that was a pretty interesting moment, and just says a lot about Amos's character. Like, he cares for people, but there is a line that once he's decided something, that's it. Like, once he gives you a warning, and he gave her a warning, like, I'm going to go after your boss. It doesn't matter that I slept with you or not. I'm going to go after your boss. If you're in my way, I'm going right through you. And he did. So that was a really interesting. That's like makes the show so juicy. And another thing is they brought back Miller's character. He was gone for a bit there, and I really like the character of Miller. When I read the first book, right away, Miller was one of my favorite characters. And in the show, they did a great job of bringing that character to life in the series as well. And so in this final season, they bring his character to a close, which, I'm going to kind of miss his character, but I kind of understand. I think it's better for the story that they eventually, Holden can't have him in his head forever. So he has to come to an end, and he had a heroic end. He stopped whatever was going on with that planet. He deactivated it, so basically saved them all so they could get off the planet. So I really did like that character. It's kind of sad. So that's two characters that kind of are gone off the series that are kind of sad to see go, is Miller and Ashford. And then there's that mystery of that ancient alien war between that whatever it was that came and wiped out all that could burn out a whole star system. Like, this really powerful alien race that's very ancient. Are they still around, or are they gone? That's kind of a mystery. And it's something with this whole thing with the proto-molecule and all that and all the ancient stuff. That's something I don't think that should be explained. Like, I think it would be a real bad mistake if they actually have those aliens show up on the show. I think it should be just some vague, mysterious, dangerous thing that existed in the past that could come back, but kind of leave it nebulous, because whenever they try to explain that, it just never works. And this is the whole thing with the ancient alien thing and proto-molecule. That's more of just I think just better left as like a plot device to have like the good guys, when they're fighting, good guys and bad guys are fighting each other, like then they have that alien technology throw a monkey wrench in there. Like we've seen a lot of in this season, and have something for them to fight over. And so some characters I want to see more of is I want to see more of the character of Drummer. I really like that character, and she's actually she's like kind of like what I think of as like a collapsed character. She's actually a combination of a few different characters from the book. Another really good character in the show, and can't wait to see more of her and see more of what she does, because she's probably going to be the one to find Ashford's body floating in space. I have a feeling. So I want to see more of her. So another thing I'm going to talk about is the fictional politics of this show versus other shows. They do a really good job with the politics in this show. You know exactly what the relationships are between three major organizations. You got Earth, Mars, and the Belters. And you know what those relationships are. And then you even got like groups within the Belters themselves. That, you know, they're not one unified whole. You can see that now with Marcos is trying to wrestle and get control of all the Belters and stuff like that. And so they do a really good job of that. So you're not wondering, well, what's going on here? Like, how are they doing this? Who's this group? How are they made? What's the relationship? Like, say like Star Trek Picard or a new Star Wars trilogy. Like, you're left with all these questions. Like, what state is the Romulans in? Like, you don't really know. They're at one moment they're portrayed as being like a completely shattered race, and they're just scattered out throughout the Alpha Quadrant, but then the next minute they got a big huge space navy and they can fund this whole project to research a Borg cube. So like, which is it? Like, are they like still a superpower in the galaxy, or are they like this collapsed race of like where are they doing? Like, it's like they don't know what they're doing with that. Like, so there's always those kinds of questions. And then with Star Wars, like, where did the First Order come from? What was their relationship with the Republic? Where was the Republic's navy? Like, you're not clear on those details. Like, not very thought out very well. Where this show, it's really thought out well. You know exactly what the Belters are. You know exactly what the relationship is. You know exactly how they came to be, where they came from, what their gripe is with Earth, and why they don't like the Inners. Like, all that's very clear. You know all that. So there's no like questions at all. So they do a way better job. And now, just to end off, if you're not watching this show, if you're a science fiction fan and you're not watching this show, give this show a chance, because there's a good chance you'll probably like it, because it's very well written. And I think so anyway. And in my opinion, I think it's one of the best science fiction shows on TV right now. It's better than the Star Treks. It's better than a lot of the other stuff I've watched. And it's really intriguing. They do a really good job on this show. So that's everything I got to say in this video. Let me know what you think in the comments section, and I will see you at the next one. Thank you to all of my subscribers, and thank you for watching this video. And if you're new to the channel, like, subscribe, and share. And don't forget to hit the bell icon for notification when new videos are uploaded.